momentarily. But first, thanks to our wonderful sponsors. I don't know if you just saw the news, but average U.S. household debt just hit $152,000. That's mortgages, cars, cards, student loans, but the national debt just hit $37 trillion. It's all going up. Ask yourself this: when the system hiccups, who bails you out? It's not the Fed, not the politicians, and that's why I own gold. Gold doesn't need a CEO, doesn't need missed earnings, it doesn't freeze your account on a Friday at 4:59. While they print, gold just sits there doing what it's done for thousands of years. Store value. If you're done playing musical chairs with your savings, get something real in your hand. That's why you should try our good friends Kirk Elliott Precious Metals today. Goldwithjustin.com. Kirk and the team going to walk you through what they're doing, whether you're a seasoned pro when it comes to buying precious metals or you're just getting started. Call Kirk and the team today at 720-605-3900. That's 720-605-3900, or go to goldwithjustin.com.
Downtown Grand Rapids. We're talking about what matters most to you in West Michigan. Join the conversation now at 616-774-2424. That's 616-774-2424. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barkley on Wood Radio.
Wow, big breaking news, folks. A couple of big stories, major items, a switch up on the show today happening, and you won't even know what happened. We had a whole show planned out, and then all of a sudden, bam! Massive breaking news, and in fact, it is, it's spooky to go with the theme of the day, but yet some good news coming out of it. We'll get to that. Plus, Trump said time for the nuclear option. We'll have the latest on that and more. What could it possibly mean? And a story as you get ready to go to the polls for millages next week out of Rockford you need to hear.
News, weather, and traffic. And the biggest stories of the day. We're talking about what matters most in West Michigan and beyond. This is the Big Three. Now, today's Big Three.
Our Big Three, powered by our good friends at Heartland Home Mortgage. Never a better time. It's what I said for over, a year or two, to buy, refi, home equity line of credit. If you listen to me, you saved, I don't even want to count the number of dollars you saved. It's just incredible. So listen to me again. Interest rates have fallen once again, second time in the quarter. Dave Galloway will be joining us next week to talk about this. Heartland Home Mortgage. Reach out to him now to find out how this could impact you, whether you want to buy, refi, home equity line of credit. HHMlending.com.
Number one.
He's willing to help you save thousands like we have every time we've used it. And many people listen to the program. Well, Trump said it's time for the nuclear option, folks. Reportedly calling on the Senate to end the shutdown by scrapping the filibuster rule. He sent this message last night in a Truth Social. We had another interesting social media message this morning we'll get to coming up in just a moment, but isn't that something? So what does that mean? The Schumer shutdown entering the second month today at 31 days. 42 million Americans risk losing their SNAP food assistance benefits. No, I should say 42 million people in America, because we don't know if they're all Americans.
Number two.
Air traffic controllers not getting paid. Is it safe to fly? We'll touch on all of that coming up. Michigan landing a game changer. This is big news for tech. Yeah, we're talking about this AI Stargate project with OpenAI, Oracle, Related Digital, all teaming up to make this a possibility. I've noted a couple of interesting things. The national media, for the most part, are calling this a Michigan project. The local Michigan media, which is interesting, statewide and whatnot, are giving credit to Whitmer. I just found that kind of interesting. I want to talk about that coming up in a moment as well. They said it could bring 2,500 union construction jobs and 450 permanent tech roles, preserving over 700 acres of open space using closed-loop water and existing power systems. I believe that Saline Township, other side of the state, is where they're. More on that coming up
Number three.
in just a moment as well. But now, They have thwarted, and FBI now saying Kash Patel with this big breaking news this morning. They have thwarted a terrorist attack, a Halloween terror attack planned here in Michigan. Multiple subjects have been arrested, allegedly plotting a violent attack over the Halloween weekend. More details to come, Kash writes. The FBI director says, thanks to the men and women of the FBI and law enforcement everywhere, standing guard 24/7 and crushing our mission to defend the homeland. Definitely. Oh, that's definitely a spooky story on a day like today. I mean, I can't even imagine. You see that. You think to yourself, is it safe to do anything? You take the kids trick-or-treating, do this, do that this weekend. Cash says yes, but I would say, just like every other weekend, folks, be on the lookout, be on alert when it comes to these types of things. You want to always make sure that you have that situational awareness. All right. I give you an opportunity here to join the program anytime. You can. 616-774-2424. Use that talkback feature of the iHeartRadio app. Click the microphone and sound off. Kyle Olson from the Midwesterner, Midwesterner.news with us this morning, sounding off on these stories and more. The Midwesterner covering them. And sometimes right smack dab in the middle of them. Kyle, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Just a slow weekend. We're headed into a slow weekend. I say in jest, but you guys are all over it. I want to talk about filibuster and the nuclear option. Obviously, President Trump, this AI project. I forgot to mention the other part of this. It's probably worth noting. Under Governor Whitmer here in Michigan, state just took a nosedive, falling 13 points, now ranked, I think it's 38th in the nation for job. I don't know. We'll get into that. You can tell us all about that as well. Just to juxtapose that AI announcement and give you a little bit better context of what's happening here in Michigan. But first, let's start with the FBI terror plot. What do we know? And boy, this is startling, isn't it?
Yeah, there's not much beyond what FBI Director Kash Patel tweeted about an hour ago. That he says this morning the FBI thwarted a potential terrorist attack and arrested multiple subjects in Michigan who were allegedly plotting a violent attack over the holiday weekend. That's really all we know right now. And so I'm guessing, more details are going to come out throughout the day. But it's just evidence that, there needs to be vigilance in Michigan, but across the country, because when the border was open, very bad people were able to infiltrate America. And, and we've heard stories about, sleeper cells and all of that. And so it's just because the border is closed doesn't mean the threat is gone. And so, we'll have to wait to see what other details come out today.
Yeah, we don't know. People are asking about where this was supposed to take place and all the rest of it. Again, we don't have all of that just yet. And by the way, this hasn't even been. I haven't seen it flash across the screen on Fox News. Of really, not many other places have been mentioning this yet. So this is fresh. As soon as we get more, we'll make sure we get it to you, Kyle Olson, the Midwesterner, the Midwesterner.news. All right, let's talk about this filibuster story. The nuclear option. President Trump might have to use the nuclear option. What does this mean, and where are we headed from here?
Well, the basic hangup has been the Senate Democrats. They've been holding this whole thing up because, of course, in order to end the filibuster, Republicans need 60 votes, and they've got mid 50s, but they can't get to 60, and so there is this nuclear option, which is not used very often, and because the whole idea of the filibuster is that the Senate is more deliberative and there's supposed to be more, consensus and all of that versus the House of Representatives, which is, shorter terms and sort of more reactionary and all of that. And so there is now, because, we're approaching a month shutdown, and people are, there's a lot of coverage about SNAP and other federal programs. I think they're trying to figure out a way out of this, and because not only do they need to figure out short-term spending, but ideally there needs to be an actual budget and not just these continuing resolutions which just sort of kick the problems down the road. And so it wouldn't. I guess we'll have to wait and see if they're going to go through this nuclear option or if they're going to try and find some sort of a compromise.
Yeah, it's wild to me to see this. I'm also hearing. We heard that maybe they were going to wait. Democrats would wait to come together until after the No Kings Day protest. Now the latest thing I'm hearing is we're waiting till after election day next week. They're pushing. There's a lot of pain in Virginia right now. One of the areas where lots of federal workers live in the swamp there. And of course, they've got a big election for governor there. So these are just theories that are floating around out there. But at the end of the day, a Democrat's willing to put people really right in the center of this and put them through a whole heck of a lot of pain. The worst part's kids. There's a lot of folks on Snap that probably, like me, I could tell you, I could do with some fasting. There'd be a couple of days I could probably go without a meal or two. But these kids, you just cannot do that to them. And it sounds like Trump wants to step in and offer the solution because Democrats won't. And again, it's another one of those scenarios where it sounds like people are gonna get a front row seat to what the Democrats are willing to do and what they really, really believe. Because you can listen to what they say or you can watch what they do, and it's a whole different thing.
Yeah, it's really a political calculation because traditionally a shutdown like this hurts the party in power, which of course is the Republicans. So the Democrats are perfectly willing to just let this drag out, and if it hurts a few people in order to stand a better chance of winning an election, then that's what they'll do.
It's interesting you say that. Catch me taking a sip of my coffee, but it's interesting you say that.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, we know we got polling showing President Trump's numbers are up through this thing, and Republicans in general, the GOP, their numbers are up as well. Is this just not working out the way Democrats have sort of planned it would?
Which also could be part of the calculation of why there could be light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
President Trump he's in the mid to high 40s in Michigan, which a lot of people would say, well, that's not very good. That's probably the best he's ever been. And you look at the trip that he just had to Asia, where he was fully embraced by leaders of Japan and South Korea and elsewhere. That was a very good trip. He is, he's doing very well, and he's delivering on his promises, which is why I think people like what he's doing, and which is why I think that this whole shutdown, may blow up in the face of Democrats, which may be why it could be ending sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I never saw them handing him a crown over in South Korea. That was something this week. Kyle Olson, the Midwesterner, the Midwesterner.news. Yeah, I'm sure that ticked off a lot of folks. All right. How about this announcement? OpenAI, Stargate, Oracle. There's a few companies coming together to build this facility, it looks like, here in Michigan. This is a big story. I've noticed nationally, there's no mention of Whitmer's name, but here locally, there's a couple of these television station, newspapers, et cetera, that are putting her right smack dab in the middle of it. And I'm thinking chances are she had very little to do with it. She's been all across the globe, jet setting, going to other countries. I doubt she's been in talks with some of these guys. What's the real truth on this?
Well, there's a lot of moving parts here because the local community is not exactly on board with this. These sorts of data centers take a huge amount of energy. And of course, Michigan is having energy problems. Our rates are going to go up again. Yeah. And the question is, what is this going to do for the rates of everyone else if, this project is sucking so much energy? But you're right. She's out, claiming credit, saying it's the biggest economic development, project in the history of the state. And a lot of media outlets are just running breathlessly with that. But I have not seen any evidence that the MEDC or corporate welfare or any of that was involved. And so why is she claiming credit for this? Because you're right, she's been running all over the world, supposedly trying to get companies to come here and offering corporate welfare and everything else. She has very little to nothing to show for that. And so here, this company is, announcing that they're going to build this massive thing in Michigan. And she doesn't really, does she have any hand in that? It doesn't seem like it, but I guess if she fires off a press release, which is what she did with Goshen, then the Michigan media will just give her credit for it.
Yeah. Another instance of that. And it's never, it's from the same playbook. They're all over at the Midwestern, the Midwesterner.news. Kyle Olson and the team, by the way. Anything new? Got about 30 seconds here, but anything you're following online, people need to check out at the Midwesterner.news today.
Well, we're just, we're continuing to cover Goshen. There's a celebration tomorrow that I'll be at, and so looking forward to that. But we're just going to continue covering what's happening in the campaigns for 2026. We did want to. There was some complaints about there was no live stream of the debate in Sparta. We did request to debate or to live stream that debate, and that was denied. But we're going to continue providing coverage where we can.
You got it. Kyle Olson, always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you.
Thanks.
You got it. There he is. And by the way, don't just bookmark it. Definitely bookmark the Midwesterner.news for updates. But make sure you put your email in so you can stay up to date, too. We're back after this, folks. Don't go anywhere. It's West Michigan Live. In the meantime, if you're able, please stand and join us for the next.
Here are your headlines from the Midwesterner this Friday, October 31st. I'm Robin Poffman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. Let the fear-mongering begin. Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson says she has a grassroots army ready to respond if President Trump tries to subvert the 2026 elections. Benson warning about alleged efforts to undermine the vote next year. Under Governor Whitmer's Michigan, our state ranks among the worst states for jobs, dropping 13 points to 30th place. And the government shutdown starts day 31 today. 42 million Americans at risk of losing their SNAP food assistance benefits. Air traffic controllers not getting paid. So is it safe to fly? Here's Vice President J.D. Vance.
No, I don't think Americans should be afraid to fly because we've got great airline professionals who are keeping the safest aviation industry in the world afloat, but they're doing it with incredible stress.
For these stories and more, visit The Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
Are you looking for serious investment in the booming clean energy?
All right, welcome in, folks. So behind the scenes live stream is rolling right along. Let's see here. We've got a few folks over on Locals hanging in there today. Good to see you guys. Man, oh, man. Lots of good friends hanging out here today. Appreciate you jumping in for a bit. Hemi, Sharon, Mendo, Rayanne, good to see you. Michigan, Panda. Takes me a minute to get back to the rest. Nana Teresa and many others. Thank you so much. So many today. And I got to go all the way back to the beginning where people say good morning. So sometimes I miss you. And if I did, just jump your name back in again so I can say good morning to you. I want to give you a shout out. Jen Lynn, good to see you. SJ, Tree Frog, Sneebor, Happy Hunter, History Diggers, Nancy, good to see you over on Rumble, the Rumblers today. The Bookers, Brian's in here, Jason, Bunny, Bruce, Marilyn. Be warned, by the way. Be warned. Harry, Jessica, Jordan. Thank you, guys. Melissa, good to see you guys this morning as well. Did I say Charlene? I think I said Bonnie. Sherry, Keith. Lots of folks jumping in the conversation. Don't forget, tonight at midnight, the price goes up over on the VIP per month. Now, if you're already locked in, you will never pay more than what you're paying right now. Some people as low as $5 a month. 7 is where we are right now, but it jumps up to 9 because we got more stuff coming and we're trying to build this. By the way, you could take advantage and move in quickly and become a founding member. JustinBarclay.com/VIP. Not only did you get secret show prep sent to you each and every day, like today, you get to see the stories before they hit the news, before they hit the air, and all of it. Plus, ask questions of our guests. We got a guest coming up at 10:30 today. You're going to want to hear from as we record a little bit of an inside scoop podcast and more. All coming up. Hang on, folks.
And Purdue, Under the Lights at the Big House. Coverage begins Saturday night at 6 on Wood Radio.
Calling it the nuclear option, but no, there's something else. I thought it was this at first. Trump's gone nuclear. No, not just the voting in the Senate, but he's also gone nuclear on Air Force One, wanting to bring back some nuclear testing.
That had to do with others. They seem to all be nuclear testing. Russia? We have more nuclear weapons than anybody. We don't do testing. We've halted it many years ago. But with others doing testing, I think it's appropriate that we do also.
Any details around the testing, sir? Like where, when?
It'll be announced. We have test sites. It'll be announced.
Yeah, what's interesting about this is he makes an interesting point. They are starting to ramp up testing and the conversation. I think the treaty that's up at the end of the year, conversation with Russia. What does all this mean? And of course, there was a test that I think that Russia did the other day with a missile. That I think is the reason why you're seeing this more posturing than anything else, saying, hey, look, if you guys think we're out of this game and you think that we're going to let you go, then you got another thing coming. But that's another point people keep an eye on when they watch all of these things unfold. Still time to get out, by the way, if you haven't done it. We got great conversations continuing after our bottom of the hour news on the way here. Millages coming out for the big vote happening next week. A lot of these kind of fly by. There's one big one in Rockford right now that residents are concerned about. I'm going to shine the light on that. So if you haven't heard about this yet, coming up, stand by for that. And like I said, you still time to get out during the month of October here. They're wrapping things up at the Good Feet store. And get in today and help support It's a Breast Thing. Each and everything that you buy, portions of those proceeds, whether it's the socks, the arch support, I'm just telling you, you're going to help people in need here in West Michigan. They're going through those breast cancer treatments. And every single purchase, 100% of every Pink OS first sock goes to support It's a Breast Thing. So get in and get it done. 28th Street. Right in front of Costco and Portage on Westage in front of Kohl's. Back after this, folks. Don't go anywhere. We got your news next. It's West Michigan Live.
Make your smart speaker smarter. Stream us.
Okay, getting smarter now.
It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio Wood 1300 and 106.9 FM.
Mark your calendars. Friday, November 22nd, it's Burnup's Equipment Milwaukee brand holiday sale. It's one day only, packed with exclusive.
All right, firing it up. Rolling right on. Where is Sherry today? That's a good question. Yeah, I heard turbulence was bad on Air Force One. I saw something about that too. It's kind of interesting. The article I saw said, yes, they get turbulence on Air Force One, too. Well, yeah, they get turbulence everywhere. I just don't think people think about it, or they see it much. But yeah, I think we got a video for that. Yeah, they're trying to interview him, and the plane is bouncing around up in the sky, and the reporters are having to deal with that too. It's just
discussed basically. These are rough winds in Asia. I must tell you, this is a rough flight. We could have waited an hour, maybe. This is a little tough. These are tough conditions for interviews. You know, they're going to be watching Trump. They're going to say, he didn't look too good. He's got the shakes. I don't have the shakes, but people are going to think I do.
You're pretty solid. So Ukraine.
Discussed basically. These are rough winds in Asia. I must tell you, this is a rough
winds in Asia, he said. They got to be watching and say, Trump's got the shakes. I don't have the shakes. It's turbulence. Oh, man. That's good. Very good. More from the Veep. I don't know if you saw him the other day. He gave, and it was in honor of Charlie Kirk, but he went to one of these schools, and he did this long 2-hour Q&A from students. The vice president. You know, I've never seen anything like that. A 2-hour Q&A from students. They're at a Turning Point event, and it was all sort of to honor Charlie Kirk, just to show you what kind of a guy we're dealing with here. Absolutely brilliant. Here he is on the shutdown.
Here is our very simple proposal to the Democrats. Let's sit down and come to a compromise and work it out. And you know what the Democrats' response to that is? Give us everything we want, or we're going to shut down the government and keep it shut down. That is not reasonable behavior. That's not how you do compromise in this town.
He's right. And you know what's funny is I hear from people on the left, well, the right's going to have to compromise. And the left is in power. They don't compromise on anything. And don't forget, Trump had a mandate. Don't forget, he won the popular vote. He won all the swing states. He won everything he could have won. He got control of the House and the Senate. The American people spoke up and said, we want to go in a different direction. The Democrats are kicking and screaming, digging their heels in like a little toddler throwing a hissy fit. I know I have two of them. Well, actually, one of them's kind of out of that fit. She still throws fits every now and then, though. You know, and you just can't give in. Sometimes you just have to be creative on how you deal with that as a parent. But he's right. You just can't give in. If the kid's kicking and screaming, you don't just give them ice cream. That just reinforces behavior. I want ice cream, and they're kicking and screaming, throwing a fit. No. That's not how this works. And in fact, they want to negotiate, but in order to do that, you got to get this CR funded so you get the government going. That's what the Republicans have said. That's what Trump has said all the way through.
That is the way that the Democrats have operated. They are trying to take a hostage, and we can't reward that behavior. If we do that, if we say, yes, of course, we'll give you everything that you want if you reopen the government, you know what's going to happen? In 3 months, come back to the administration, and they're again going to say, we're going to shut down the aviation industry. We're going to deny people SNAP benefits unless you give us exactly what you want. That's how a child behaves. That is not how a responsible governing party behaves in the United States.
That's what I just said. Absolutely. These people aren't serious. They're not adults. And the other thing I see, too, and this is what I think is the most concerning, gaslighting from these politicians, and some of them from the media, and they're all in lockstep on the lie. They're all lying. Well, they're in control. They have all the House and the Senate, and now shouldn't they be the one? It's just crazy. And they're willing to put people and kids through hell. Pardon my language. But it's true. That's exactly what they want to do in order to get what they want.
States of America. And let me make one final point, and then we'll cut out of this press conference. Look, I've been a little bit unfair, and I want to correct this, because when I say the Democrats have shut down the government, it's actually the far left side of the Democratic Party. This, because when I say,
let me roll this back, and we'll roll it on the air for you here in just a second. Stand by. Got to get back at it. Got about 10, 15 seconds, and we're going to be live. Nothing on Fox News about the terror plot in Michigan yet. Still waiting for more details on that. See if we can get those for you as we continue. Stand by.
Retirement Ready with Tony Drake of Drake & Associates.
Hey, it's Glenn Beck, and you're listening to West Michigan Live. with our good friend Justin Barclay. The Glenn Beck program coming up at 10 on Wood Radio.
I want to correct this because when I say the Democrats have shut down the government, it's actually the far left side of the Democratic Party because to their great credit, 3 moderate Democrats joined 52 Senate Republicans to vote to reopen the government. We need 5 more reasonable Democrats to put the American people first and reopen the government. That's all that we're asking. Let's talk about health care policy. Let's make sure that we ensure that Americans' health insurance premiums don't go up. We want that, and we're willing to work with people for it, but they've got to reopen the government first.
That's, I think, pretty reasonable. And, it's wild to watch Vice President J.D. Vance there making that case. What's wild to watch is on CNN, another one of, it's just, you look at this and you go, how can this guy be? And it's true. He's one of the most reasonable out there. He almost could be running as a Republican almost. But that's what a lot of these MAGA, that's what a lot of the folks have done. As they were Democrats, they were voting all along for Democrats. And I say, they'll even tell you, they talk about Trump. They say, well, we didn't leave the Democrat Party. They left us. That's what Fetterman's essentially saying. He's making all kinds of sense on CNN.
Back home about SNAP expiring on Saturday.
I'm saying that I will witness it firsthand. My wife, Giselle, she develops the free store in our community, and it distributes food 3 times a week. And her lines have already got longer. And now I will encounter.
Right, I'm hearing a lot of that actually right now. A lot of these food giveaways, the lines are already, because people are anticipating.
Encounter people that have no SNAP benefits starting on Saturday, and I don't have an explanation for them. All I could say is I'm sorry. It's an absolute failure what occurred here for the last month, and now things are really going to land. And imagine being a parent with a couple kids and how you're going to fill their refrigerator and pack their lunches and get on with their lives when the things that they've depended on now is gone because we can't even agree to just open things up.
It's just wild. There's more on this. I put it up in the stack today. All the videos and all the stories we share, we put it each and every day up at justinbarkley.com. You can get those. And if you're listening live or archive the full show, in case you miss it, you won't have to miss a moment. You can get it all in the iHeartRadio app, wherever you download your podcast. But it is wild to see Fetterman making such sense, clear. And the guy had a stroke. Think about this. Making such clear, concise sense. It is I don't even want to read what Jason has said in the chat right now over on Facebook. How is that crazy? You know what? The voice of reason now. And it's true. It's true. It just shows you how far out some of these folks, Schumer, AOC, and the rest of them have gone. Talk about nutty. Let's get into the next conversation. We got millages and folks voting next week in a lot of places. Spooky how much money they want to take out of your pockets. And as we talked to our guest, Carl Wagner from Axe My Tax earlier this week, and the fact is that you could be on the hook for a lot of this and risk losing your home in a lot of cases. Emily Whalen is on the phone right now. She's been watching what's happening in Rockford, and a couple of people reach out and say, you got to talk to Emily. Emily's been sort of sounding the alarm on some things with some questions. Fair enough. Let's let her have the opportunity to ask and maybe even answer some for folks. Emily, we appreciate you being here with us. Thank you for taking the time.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for having me. And yeah, it's Halloween, but it's no trick or treat.
Yeah.
For what they're giving us.
So tell me what's the story in Rockford right now? This has to do with something that folks are going to vote on Tuesday, it sounds like.
Yeah, yep, in Tuesday. So, the school bond was announced in the middle of the summer when families were away. Many community members had no idea this was coming. and we're set for a tax decrease. So they want to keep our mills at the same level, and they're like, oh, it's a 0 mill increase, but not noting that, yeah, you're going to keep our taxes high for another 30 years.
So you're saying that people in Rockford were set to save some money, and yet at the expiration of this, somebody somewhere said, well, we can't let that happen. Let's keep people on the hook for another 30 years. Why is that, and what are they asking for? I see the story is Rockford Public Schools asking for $230 million bond for building upgrades, new field house. And I'm sure people feel all kinds of different ways about this, but explain to me what you're hearing.
Yeah, so a lot of the issues is bundling in safety and some facility upgrades with these extravagant projects. So a lot of us out in the community want two separate proposals. We've given presentations on the sinking fund option, which is interest-free. And it doesn't make sense to finance buses and technology with 30-year loans. So the sinking fund would allow for those purchases to be made as needed, no interest, like paying cash for a car. I would never do a 30-year loan for a car.
Oh, I can't imagine. Yeah, no, and you're absolutely right. All of these things will become obsolete. Who knows what's happening in 30 years altogether anyway with AI and everything else. But yeah, you're right. Why would you finance those things now through a 30-year? That's a good point.
Yeah, and the indoor turf, taxpayers in the community, they're not aware of how large this facility is going to be. It's supposed to be connected to our freshman center, and it will be 100 square foot. And our freshman center is just over 100 square foot. So it's the size of the school that they're adding on.
Wow.
And not taking into consideration the utility bills that will increase and come out of the general fund that takes away from our teachers and our students today.
We've known that those energy bills, so the utility bills are going up. They're going to continue to go up. And then we just had the announcement of the OpenAI project in Michigan, which will drain more energy and supply and demand. You can only imagine that your bills are going to go up from that as well. And
that's the other thing.
Yeah.
The timing is just not good. The economy is not great. Groceries are ridiculous. We've all had to tighten our budgets, and we're asking the schools to do the same.
Oh, what you're essentially getting at here, and I know there's all kinds of questions that people may have about this, but as people go to vote on Tuesday, you and I said it sounds like there's a fair amount of people that would support turning this proposal down. What does that look like, just so people know exactly how to vote?
Yeah, so they still have 2019 bonds, $36.5 million. They have 3 years to spend that. So a no vote isn't going to be a disaster. It will actually give the district a chance to go back to the drawing board and maybe involve actual community members that don't have specific ties to the school, and come back with a more balanced proposal or two proposals or however they're going to do it, but they need to go sharpen their pencils.
I got to get a correction. People are asking in the chat here how big that building is. Can you say that one more time?
100,000 square foot.
Yeah, people are thinking you said 100 square foot, which you may have. I thought you meant 100,000. Just for reference, yes. People are freaking out about the size of the ballroom that President Trump wants to build at the White House. I think that's 90,000 square feet. This in Rockford would be even bigger. And you're saying that this is, again, another project that folks in Rockford ought to take a closer look at.
Yeah, we just had stadium upgrades 3-4 years ago. We have a huge jumbotron. And I actually heard through all this, talking to community members, that the focus on athletics has made the school called the University of Rockford.
That's funny.
And it's all about these stadiums and the athletics. And our testing scores just came back, and a third of our third grade reader, like they can't read. And, you need to learn to read in order to read to learn. And they're missing that whole process. Instead of spending all this time and energy on these building projects, they should be focusing a little bit more on education.
I would tell you, and Emily Whalen with this right now is a concerned citizen in Rockford, ringing the alarm on this. Rockford Public Schools asking for $230 million more on the bond and the building upgrades. You look into this, I think people would say, and particularly now as they're taking a look at everything and their own budgets, et cetera, everything else, that they don't mind the school having a big scoreboard. They don't mind these big facilities, et cetera. But in order that you would build those and put somebody's home in the balance, hanging in the balance if they can't pay their property taxes, et cetera, it's kind of wild. It's kind of wacky to think about that, and think about putting the people of Rockford and your kids on the hook over the next 30 years for something like this. Is something that folks are probably taking a closer look today at. I would think this sounds like. Emily, anything else before we let you go? I'm glad you had a chance to get some of this off your chest and get this out there so that folks know what's going on in Rockford.
Yeah, we've had a great group of people. We established a ballot committee through the county, so we are legit. And people have said, oh, we're not transparent because we don't know who you are. I've done a lot of presentations, and that's, I'm doing this interview. I'm putting my name out there. I really care about our school and our kids. This isn't anti-school. Just looking at the process, and whether you are for or against the bond, I just ask everyone to look at the facts. And transparency isn't too much to ask for. No. And if you are unsure, I would suggest voting no, because they will come back with a better plan that you may agree with better. So if you're on the fence, just sit it out, but actually go vote because we only had 10% of voters approve the 2019 bond. So we need voter turnout on Tuesday.
That's the answer to all of this. And unfortunately, they keep doing these, and they'll bring it up again. If it fails this, they'll bring it up again. But that's the answer. People being engaged, people understanding what's happening in their own backyards, and being willing to say no and tell them over and over again. And I don't know. I mean, transparency is definitely a big part of it, accountability, but none of that happens without people taking action. Get informed and get into action. And Emily, I'm sounds like you're one that's done that. Thank you for taking the time to share it with us today.
Yeah, thank you so much. And hopefully we don't have any more tricks coming our way.
You got it. Appreciate the call. Again, folks, we'll continue. We'll put information up online as well about this if you want to follow it in the stack today. $230 million is what Rockford Public Schools is asking for in their bond proposal for building upgrades, a new field house. Some calling that just irresponsible altogether. I think it's an interesting thought. And I got to tell you, again, if you don't know that there's something to vote on in your area, this is why they do this. And you don't know what it is, and you don't understand the insides and outs of it, folks, that's never a good thing. Clearing up all of it, the confusion and more when we come back next. And your calls, too.
Back after this on a spooky edition. Yeah. 230 million here, 230 million there. And the latest, maybe we get an update on the FBI saying they've thwarted a terror attack here in the state of Michigan this morning. The latest on that on the way.
FYI. Like, literally. It's West Michigan Live with Justin Barclay on News Radio Wood 1300 and
Here are your
106.9
headlines
FM.
from the Midwesterner this Friday, October 31st. I'm Robin Poffman. It's a Midwesterner.news original story. Under Democrat Governor Whitmer, Michigan ranking among the worst states for jobs, dropping 13 spots to 30th place. In other news, Michigan Secretary of State Democrat Jocelyn Benson and her grassroots army are scenario playing right now in anticipation of election mayhem as she works to convince voters the threats are real in 2026. Benson, who's running her own campaign for governor, busy fear-mongering about alleged efforts to undermine the vote. And the government shutdown starts day 31 today, Vice President J.D. Vance telling reporters.
This is something that every single American, Democrat or Republican or Independent, should be able to agree on. Open the government. Stop this craziness and open the government. It's causing way too many problems.
For these stories and more, visit The Midwesterner at themidwesterner.news.
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too. Newsmax has been terrific.
President Trump is right. Millions like you are tuning into Newsmax. You're watching Newsmax.
All right, folks, we're rolling right along. And just a quick break here. The fastest hour on radio is flying by. No tricks, just treats. Yeah, I'm wearing my Halloween costume now, Jason says. I'm going as a crazy old veteran with distrust for the government and a bad attitude. Doesn't sound like much of a stretch, Jason. Hey, today's my youngest birthday. She's 3 today, which is, wow, we already gave her a couple of presents this morning, and then we're going to have a little bit of a get-together later. I love it. She's just a ray of sunshine. Her middle name's Joy. So maybe that's where some of that comes from. But she really is something. And yeah, so it's a fun day today. We don't do much. I saw the morning show talking about this morning. The pumpkin carving. It's really interesting to me. We've never carved a pumpkin. I don't think my wife and I ever carved a pumpkin just as something to do with each other. It's really I'm not against it. I don't know. It sounds like a mess with everything, and then we do pumpkins. We put the pumpkins out front. We got pumpkins in the house and stuff like that, but we never carved them. Now I tell you what I like. I'm not eating these right now, because of the thing that I'm doing right now. By the way, somebody said, Justin, you're glowing this morning, like the sun is shining. Thank you. I feel great. I'm actually down. I can't tell you how much it is just yet. I got to keep that. I got to hold on to that. Maha Missy's going to join us a little bit later on. But I'm actually down a good bit, even more than I was last week. I'm feeling good. The clothes are fitting even better, which is awesome. But I've got all this energy and I'm sleeping well at night. I think this is the other thing that says you start to get a glow about you. So thanks to Maha Missy and, by the way, the folks at healthwithjustin.com, My Pure Health Solutions, Charity and the gang. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for all of that. If you want to join me, by the way, it's part of the Maha movement. We're going to be talking Maha a little bit later on this morning at 10:30. A little bit of our bonus during the podcast and the after show today. There we go. Hang on for that. Back on the air here, folks. Stand by.
Yep. We are rolling right along. No tricks, just treats today on West Michigan Live. And I was just telling folks off the air on the behind the scenes live stream chat, my youngest turned 3 today. Happy birthday, Anna Joy. She's dressed up as, I think, a butterfly today, and she's got her little happy birthday princess crown on. We'll have a little get together a little bit later on and enjoy the time. She's just a bundle of joy, and I can't believe it's already been 3 years since she was born. I remember that day, just out of the blue, my wife is walking around. She's pregnant. She's got our oldest daughter in the backyard. They're walking around in the leaves and everything. And so she's like, I think today is a day. I think I'm gonna be. We need to go. So then she called the doctor and said, hey, come in, and we'll take a look. Well, we came and they took her and said, yeah, go right across the street at that point. They got her in and got her on her way. And later on that evening, it wasn't too long after, she was here. She was with us. Sweet girl. Absolutely. What a day. I don't know what you're doing to celebrate, but we'll keep you updated with all the news and the stories over the weekend. I've got stories I didn't get a chance to get to. We'll see if we can get some more updates coming up top of the hour. I'm not seeing anything right now from the FBI and this terror plot that was thwarted here in Michigan over the weekend, but we'll try and see if we can scare up some more there. I got more from Fetterman, who makes the most sense in the Democrat Party right now. It's just wild to see that happening. Speaking of scary, and some other stories you won't want to miss. By the way, mortgage rates fall again, the lowest in a year. I wonder what's changed since then. We'll have a conversation next week. You can look forward to our good friend Dave Galloway for the latest on that and more. But I just don't know about you. If you miss any moment, you can make sure you stay up to date. All the stories printed up in the stack at justinbarclay.com. In the meantime, live or archive, you can get this program and the after show podcast we post over the weekend as well on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you download your podcast. Great way to do it. That's it. Always appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time to be here with us. And yeah, we'll get through this shutdown news together as well. As Trump says he wants to do the nuclear option. The stories. Well, we could have the government back open sometime today if that's the case. Details that we'll be following closely all through it. Appreciate you as always. In the meantime, Glenn program is next. Make it a great day. God bless.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses. We forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. God is the kingdom, the power, and glory forever and ever. Amen. Amen.
All right, folks, clicking a few buttons, and then we're rolling right along. Bum, 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 bum. It's a great point. Dave from Party World. I don't know if you've ever been to Party World, but they sell all kinds of winning lottery tickets. One of the luckiest stores in town over on Alpine sent me a text. He goes, it's a crazy thought. But Fetterman would probably beat Newsom right now in a primary. That is something. That is something. All right, hang on, folks. We're going to get the show on the road. Stand by for news. Get ready to strap in. It's going to be a heck of a ride. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Never a dull moment, but yes, you'll hear the stories you won't hear anywhere else, and we appreciate you being here with us for them today. I'm Justin Barclay. Welcome into the after show, the show after the show, folks. This is what we call it, the after show. Never a dull moment, never enough time for it all. We do our best to make sure you hear it, you get it, and you're locked in. Thank you for being here. Man, oh man, so much to cover, so much to discuss yet, and a lot of this you're going to find at stackjustinbarclay.com. So, that being said, I want to play more because there's more from Fetterman making sense, which is wild to watch the Democrats, how far they've slid. More audio clips that you've got to hear and see if you're watching on the behind-the-scenes live stream and get all of that coming up. Plus a very special guest coming up at 10:30. Maha Missy with a Maha update. We'll give you the latest. In fact, New York Times has got a piece out today, which I think is kind of interesting. Whole Foods, Maha, and the battle over healthy eating in America, which I think is kind of fascinating. They're starting to get a little more of a focus on this. That and you're seeing more with Maha happening as they tamp down some big pharma and deceptive drug advertising. We're going to talk about that in some of the latest updates. Plus, I've got big news. My latest milestone as I continue my Maha health journey. We'll get to that today as well. In the meantime, thanks to the folks at ProTech Heating and Cooling. Lisa and the team have been spectacular through it all. I told you about these guys. They saved my bacon a couple of times with a water heater, an AC, a furnace. I love them. They do great work. You have to have this stuff inspected, right, by the township. And they came in. I got to tell you, the guy came in. I was kind of, oh, gosh, what do we got? What do we have to deal with here? What do we have to worry about now? You got a guy coming in from the township. Government's here to save us, right? And so he's coming in to look at everything. And I think to myself, here we go. And the guy had nothing but nice things to say. He goes, these ProTech guys, he said, everything they do is so buttoned up. Everything they do is so good. I mean, he was in and out in minutes. I just couldn't be more thrilled. By the way, right now is the time. If you're a DTE Energy customer, you could be eligible for a free furnace tune-up or a discounted boiler tune-up. Just contact the folks at ProTech today to see if you're eligible. Go to protectgr.com or call them at 616-303-7436. Or if you're like us, you can get a free humidifier or Remy Halo air purifier with any furnace and air conditioner installation for the month of October at protectgr.com. Reach out. And even if you're not in the market for something right now, just tell them thank you. Call up and say thank you for supporting Justin. We really appreciate everything you're doing. We appreciate you. Speaking of support, thank you for sharing this. If you're watching today, Facebook, Twitter, X, Lumble, Getter, Locals, YouTube, or if you're even listening to the podcast, when you share this out, you help us reach more people, and particularly on Facebook right now where the algorithm leaves a little bit to be desired. I will just tell you that much. The algorithm's a little out of whack. They're throttling us right and left. What's new, right? Anyway, I appreciate you helping us get the word out and share so we can fight back. Speaking of fighting back, he said this enough is enough. Fetterman making more sense than anyone else in his party. It's just wild to see. Interviewed by Manu Raja over on CNN. He's sitting out on a bench there in Washington, D.C. somewhere, probably outside of D.C. there in the swamp outside of the Senate.
So what are you hearing back home about SNAP expiring on Saturday?
I'm saying that I will witness it firsthand. My wife, Giselle, she develops the free store in our community, and it distributes food 3 times a week. And her lines have already got longer. And now I will encounter people that have no SNAP benefits starting on Saturday, and I don't have an explanation for them. All I could say is, I'm sorry. It's an absolute failure what occurred here for the last month, and now things are really going to land. And imagine being a parent with a couple kids and how you're going to fill their refrigerator and pack their lunches and get on with their lives when the things that they've depended on now is gone because we we can't even agree to just open things up. For a Democrat, we're not allowed to just open this up. I mean, then our party has bigger problems than I thought we might have already. It's like, that's not controversial. Pay everybody. And you have...
Yeah, it's so funny. He's 100% right. This is a Democrats. Republicans are kind of excited about a shutdown because they're like, well, we ought to shut it down. We don't need these many people working anyway. We don't need these many people on government assistance, et cetera. But the Democrats love paying people. They love government shutdowns. Why? Why then are they're dragging their feet? They continue to do so. Hey, let's get reaction to your option idea from Speaker Mike Johnson, who is speaking right now at a press conference.
So can't forget, we must never again allow extremist hostage taking to create this kind of disruption. That was 2013. Just days ago, the senator from Rhode Island said the opposite. It's the only lever we have, meaning the shutdown. What he means is that the pain of the American people is their political lever. I guess he's forgotten his cries of alarm over the extremist hostage taking. And how about the House? And infamously now, we all know the Democrat whip, Catherine Clark, the second highest ranking Democrat in the House, said, quote, just last year, she said, they are taking a non-issue, a false flag, and saying this is the reason we can't proceed. It is a dangerous precedent to be threatening a shutdown. That's what she said in 2024. And what'd she say about a week ago? The opposite. Quote, of course, there will be families that are going to suffer here, but it's one of the few leverage times we have. Many House members have echoed the same hypocrisy, and I'm not going to waste our time with it this morning, but I do want to leave you with this quote from Chuck Schumer, because he is the actual architect of the shutdown. He is the one that is preventing the Senate Democrats from doing the right thing. In March of this year, as you know, he voted on the same CR to avert a shutdown. And he said then, quote, in his speech on the Senate floor and in a bunch of interviews, this is what he said on the Senate floor, quote, the CR was certainly bad, but a shutdown would be 15 or 20 times worse. It was a vote of principle. And today, Chuck Schumer, entirely void of principle, by his own estimation, said, quote, every day gets better for his party. Tell that to the millions of American families facing a hunger crisis now as a direct result of his failed leadership and shenanigans. Those Democrats have all collectively voted 14 times over the last several weeks to reject the clean continuing resolution to fund the government, and they've made it abundantly clear they're going to continue to do that, to hold the American people hostage, so long as it serves their political interest to look tough to the leftist radicals in their base. Republicans have done our part to end the government, the Democrat shutdown, and now it's time for Democrats to do theirs. The path forward is simple. Please, every American who is concerned about this, every American that is feeling the harm, you should call the Senate Democrats and tell them to stop the nonsense. Echo the voices of the unions, of the airlines, of hardworking people everywhere, and tell them to stop doing this and open the government. We have to do that. 42 million Americans are set to miss meals starting tomorrow, and this should be the easiest vote they've ever taken in their lives. I don't want to belabor this point any longer, because I'm delighted to introduce you to our guest for the daily press conference here. Everybody knows Brooke Rollins, the incomparable, as I call her, the incomparable Brooke Rollins. She leads the U.S. Department of Agriculture. And, of course, her department operates and oversees SNAP benefits to all these tens of millions of Americans. We're fortunate to have her here today. She's going to talk about the devastating effects of the Democrats' decisions on all this. And I'm delighted to give her the podium now. Brooke, so thanks so much for being here, Madam Secretary.
She's the USDA
Speaker.
Secretary. Overseas
Really great to be
SNAP,
here with everyone.
the food stamp.
I was reminded I was in the Speaker's backyard in Louisiana over the weekend and on Friday, and we went to a restaurant there, and our waiter by the name of Joe was wonderful. He was a multi-generational Louisiana and New Orleans, and he was our server, and he was just so impressive. And towards the end, he brought up that, well, this is a job he had to take because he was furloughed. and so was not making any money. And he worked for the federal government. He didn't know who I was. And I said, well, Joe, I can appreciate that. I'm sort of in that world as well. And I said, where do you work? And he said, well, I work for the U.S. Department of Agriculture in their New Orleans office as part of the financial team. And so it just really brought home for me, to echo what Mike said, just thanking so many thousands of federal workers who are showing up, who are still doing their job, who aren't getting paid, those that are now concerned about putting food on the table and making their mortgages and paying their rent. But to be out in the country, I was in Indiana yesterday, and understand the real sort of pain that's being felt. But just to echo a couple of the themes that Speaker Johnson talked about, again, the idea that the Democrats have now for 14 different votes voted to keep the government closed.
That's right.
Is absolutely unconscionable. Every day they hold the federal government hostage. They are leaving millions of families' livelihoods and critical benefits, including SNAP, hanging in the balance. Of course, we all know the 13,000 air traffic controllers working without pay, many turning to Uber, taking second jobs in restaurants, et cetera, as this shutdown continues. Hundreds of thousands of federal employees are not receiving a paycheck. Thousands of small business loans are going unapproved each month because of this shutdown, equating to almost $4 billion in capital being taken out of the pockets of small business owners across this country, truly the backbone of our economy. It is a fact that Democrats shut down the government over free health care for illegal aliens and their $1.5 trillion partisan wish list. Democrats need to stop playing politics with the livelihoods of hardworking Americans and open the government now by voting for the clean resolution. We are here today because SNAP benefits run dry tomorrow. So the truth has finally revealed itself, hasn't it? Democrat support for programs like SNAP is now reduced to cynical control over people's lives. This last month has shown that the party who constantly says it puts people over politics does the complete opposite. Millions of Americans, as of tomorrow, will no longer receive SNAP and potentially WIC or even a paycheck. Democrats have instigated a disgusting dereliction of duty unlike anything I have seen in all my years doing this work, all to favor illegal aliens and other radical far-left policies that benefit only a small, tiny sliver of their base. I am embarrassed for Chuck Schumer. He is going out of his way to please the likes of Zohran Mamdani, a man who is polarizing America with his socialist rhetoric and anti-American principles. The very essence of government responsibility is to the citizens who live and work here to protect their interests first, unless you are a Democrat in the United States Senate. Chuck Schumer and the Democrats are doing all this because they fear the socialists and the radicals to their left. Ironically, in leaving American families hungry.
I'm going to just plug it. I don't know if he's going to be able to give us any information on the nuclear option. I think that would have to come out of the Senate. So look, it's just more of the same stuff that we know. Look, I will tell you this. The Democrats' talking points have been talking about this recently. They say that you could, they've got the money at the USDA to do this. Now they've only got $5 billion in an emergency fund somewhere. They don't have the $9 billion that they need to issue a month's worth of money to these recipients. So what happens if they blow through the $5 billion? And think about how much we're spending. Just think about that money. $9 billion a year for just crazy. $9 billion a year. Or excuse me, a month. I said a year. I meant a month. $9 billion a month for this program. It's just asinine. It's insane. And that's why, again, when you look at who's making the points, the Democrats, you watch Fetterman and what he says, and it's like, how's this guy the only one left?
Our workers here borrowed over $350 million to pay their own bills. like it's a failure. And like I said to all of the viewers, I'm apologizing that we can't even get our shit together and just open up our government.
Schumer said this gets
so good. It's so true.
better politically every day for Democrats. What do you say to that?
Yeah, well, ask the hungry people on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like that's the thing. You know, Americans are not leveraged. This is not some shitty game show about who's winning or whatever. It's just like we have to be better than this and just open this up. And I do, talk to any number of Republicans who they agree that we have this conversation about extending these tax credits.
Wow. Sounds like he said more, but there was somebody yelling in the background at him or at the TV cameras or whatever. The guy makes so much. It's hard to imagine, but he's like, this is not some game show. This is real life. Now, again, there is a lot of question about how many people are on those roles, who's on those roles, and who should be on those roles. And something I saw pointed out the other day, I just thought this was really interesting. About a game plan to find out now, because we're in the shutdown mode, et cetera. Now do we have a game plan? Because so many people, this is bubbled up to the top, the surface, and people have seen what's there. Now is there an opportunity to go through and make sure that these people could and should recertify? In other words, we got to make sure you're who are you say you are. Now, I found that very interesting. There was a woman who did a video on this the other day, and I said, gosh, that is really, I hadn't considered it, but she said, there's these things you've probably heard of, ghost jobs and everything else. Especially through the pandemic. People had ghost jobs. There were ghost unemployment people on the unemployment rolls. Not real, right? These are not real people. Is it possible that there are ghost people on the SNAP benefits rolls as well? Not only is it possible, but I think it's probably highly likely. I mean, just kind of blown away by that. I don't see the video now, but it was such a good point she made. Such a good point she made. By the way, here's something that you may want to consider. I saw this and thought this was really interesting. And I'll see if I can get it geared up for you. But so the ghost rolls and the ghost people on these, and that is kind of funny because it's Halloween, right? But like they're not real. So there would be somebody essentially scamming the system, not just someone scamming the system, but there's money being skimmed off the top kind of thing. That's what that would be. And they're going to look and see if maybe they have an opportunity to take some of those people off. Now, this is for you. And I would say even if you're just trying to be a little more frugal, this might be an interesting option as well. Let me see if I can pull this video up for you. This woman is talking about a new program. And I don't know what it's called, but take a listen to what she says here, and we'll see if we can run it back for you. Let me see if I can refresh this.
I got 2 bags today from Whole Foods. We got one regular bakery bag, and then we got one of the new bags. They've added a bunch of new bags, a lot of I think every Whole Foods now that's on the app has like a bunch of new bags. And I got a meat bag, which I think is just a bunch of different kinds of raw meat. So we're gonna see. I'm gonna do meat first because it's gotta be refrigerated. So let's see what we got. Ooh, it's an insulated bag. I've never seen that before. Sorry, it's like squishy meat. Okay. chicken thighs. That's the best kind. Oh my God. Ultra premium chicken thighs.
All right, let me pause it for a second. There's an app that's called Too Good to Go she's talking about. It's Too Good to Go. And I have not used this, so I can tell you I don't know anything about it, but apparently you download the app and let's see, what does it look like here? You download the app, save good food from going to waste. Too Good to Go is a social impact company on a mission to inspire and empower everyone to fight food waste together. Well, I hate food waste. Try something new from local cafes, bakeries, or restaurants. Enjoy food at half price or less. Help the environment. Yeah. But saving money, to me, that sounds like I'm kind of like a win-win. So she got these bags from Whole Foods. Let's see what else she got.
Skinless. Usually $11.25. I think there's 6 of them. Holy wow. Also, this bag is $9.99.
$9.99.
Ground turkey breast.
Well, so what's she getting in the
This
bag?
is good. Okay, sell by dates.
I think the other thing is you don't know what you're going to get in the bag. It's a mystery. So you're just saying I'll take a meat bag, and it's all stuff that they have to get rid of because it's expiring soon or something.
Best by 1031, and then this is also Best by 1031. I do think a lot of locations were kind of blindsided by these new bags, so they're probably just putting in stuff that's not necessarily by the next day. Okay, I think there's one last thing. Ooh, another ground turkey breast. This is great. You can freeze. Neither of them are like puffed up, so
I love this idea. I don't know about you, but I guess some of it you wouldn't know. Like, can I use this or not? But like, if you're in a pinch, folks, this is a great idea.
I'd say this is not bad for $10. 6 chicken thighs.
The end, you have to pick it up. You go. I think restaurants are doing this too. I've seen somebody do this with a restaurant too. The restaurants aren't as. It's kind of a gamble. It's not as good. Maybe I think Whole Foods you'd probably be okay.
God, I cannot wait to make stuff with that. But yeah, if any of you guys have gotten the new bags, do let me know what you think. There are meat, seafood, dry grocery, refrigerated grocery, frozen grocery, specialty foods, floral, and maybe something else. I don't know. But then, in addition to that, is the bakery and prepared foods that they've always had. So, if you have gotten your hands on any of these new bags, let me know what you got and what you thought. So, yeah.
That's interesting. Again, you check the app out. I'm not endorsing it because I don't really know anything about it. I've just seen people talk. Now, this woman might have even been paid to talk about it. I don't know. I'm not. I generally only talk. You'll only hear me talk about things I've used or really, I agree with. That type of thing. I can't think of anything that I talk about that I don't use guarding your nest egg with those folks, but I like their approach and have talked with the Talonwell folks. So that might be one. But everything else, you think about ProTech, Heartland Home Mortgage. Kevin Yoder's a friend, but he's not. I've never sold my house with him, but I've lots of experience with Kevin. Just trying to go through, obviously, Mentality. The folks at the Roof Savers, mi.com, Roof Max. Boy, I've loved them. They did us a great job, saved us some money too. So yeah, that's kind of how I operate. So you take a look at this and see if it's right for you. Looks like they do a Krispy Kreme. See, they do restaurants too. Aldi, Starbucks. What are they throwing out at Starbucks? I guess they have food there, don't they? I don't really do it. Burger King. So some of this you may not want to do, but you could check it out and see if it's a fit for you. I don't. I don't know. I hate the idea of food waste myself too. They're setting up to never be able to go to the store again. Just click it and pick it up. Be careful what you wish for. Shelley, I love you, but not everything's a thing. I don't like going to the store. I love picking things up. I've been doing that since COVID, and I never stopped. It's so much easier, and I save money. And by the way, if you're not comfortable with that, Jason says squirrel is good eats. So you can get high protein, lean meat. If you're hungry, it's food, he says. Squirrel, some good eats. We'll find out if that's approved on the plan from Maha Missy coming up in the update. And just a little bit, by the way, that might be my most favorite thing to talk about recently, healthwithjustin.com. It's not the plan. The plan is that you're already in the prison. You know what the real plan is? The plan is you're in the prison that you never see coming, and you're already in it. If you have a phone, if you're on Facebook, you're already in it. I mean, I hate to tell you. Now, use things. Just know you got to use things and weigh the situation. But there's surveillance everywhere. Look at Palantir and what they put together. Come on, give me a break. They know everything about every one of us. You downloading a food app to save a few bucks ain't going to be the thing the noose that they hang around your neck. There's so much other stuff going on. Just, I get the big picture. But, I'm just telling you, they've already got it all. They have everything they could possibly want on you. Now, maybe they have a little bit. I honestly think AI is a way to get more because they're going to put it all. Am I okay with it? It's a reality. Am I okay with it? Doesn't matter whether I'm okay with it or not. They have everything. If you're on a computer, you have a phone. They've got it all. The AI is the next piece that ties it all together. That's what they're going to do is aggregate it all. Plus, I have a feeling some of what they're using with the AI is, I don't know, you've seen these people talking to their AI and like using it as therapy and things like that. That's where they're going to get things they would never be able to get. They're going to actually be able to get your thoughts and even deeper. And I think they're going to be able to influence you with it. As more and more people use those apps to actually have conversations and really dig deep with the talking. That I think is the next piece. I mean, Shelley, you can't come on here and act like you're all pure and never, you're not in the system. You're on Facebook or have a phone or have a computer. I mean, we just have to realize that you're a part of it. We all are. You got to accept some of it, and then you have to say, "There's some of it. Look, I'll talk against." But you can't go like everything I see is it. Well, yeah, the thing you're on right now is it. I'm not. All I'm saying is like, just be aware. That's it. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why I'm so. Why I'm so ornery today, but I am. I just think we got to be honest about this stuff. I really do. I guess it's probably been years of seeing now everything's the mark of the beast and everything's this and everything's that and the world's going to end and rapture's happening tomorrow and all this other stuff. And I think my deal with it is not to say that I don't agree with those things. Some of them do, some of them I don't. But also I think what happens is it becomes a numbness. When everything's the thing, almost like in a clickbaity way, then you're on edge and you're in fear. And by the way, that's the prison itself, is the fear. Well, I can never use this or I can never use that because I'm too much afraid, too much in fear. That's what they want you in. That's the vibration. That's the spirit that they want you in, is fear. All right, I'm done talking about that. Sky is always falling sometimes. And sometimes the fact that you think the sky is falling is worse than the sky actually falling. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't be aware and look out for those, but you gotta walk the line. You gotta watch for the balance. You gotta find where it all is. So anyway, that's all I'm saying. And I talk about it in my book. Good news, hope, and encouragement for trying times. I go into it heavily. And if you want one, I'll send you one. But if you think it'll help you, but I really do. I wrote that because of this. One of the things I always continuously got asked. What do you think's going to happen here? What do you think is going to happen there? Especially during 2020, 2021. And what that was, the answer was always the same. I don't know. And you guys, if you've ever been here more than 5 minutes, you know the story. I don't know. All I know is God is still on the throne. See, the doom and gloom, the black pill, it's designed to get you to do nothing. It's designed to just get you because it makes you feel empowered to come in and say everything's the thing and not actually take action. We're still at a point where you can save yourself, your family, the country. We haven't gone too far. So just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. All right, folks, she's jumping in to talk Maha, a Maha special Maha update. Our good friend Maha Missy is jumping up on the phone and on the line with us in just a moment. Stand by. I want to clear this. So you're watching the behind the scenes live stream. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear the deck as if the show was over. Then we're going to start it fresh. Now, you don't have to go anywhere. It's just a recording, so they have something to use here in just a second. I would bring Maha Missy on just real quick to see if we can hear her and see her. Maha Missy, are you there?
Hi there. Can you see me?
Yep, you look good. You sound good. Stand by 1 second. We're back after it. After I clear the deck here, let me roll this and thank people for being here with us today, and then we'll get into it. By the way, if you're listening to the podcast right now and you're going, what's going on? You'll be able to hear this show a little bit later on. If you're streaming it live, you'll be able to watch it and stream with us now. But we're going to talk all things Maha, the updates. We've been doing this once a week now, and I think it's worth doing. So there's a lot. There's just so much going on in that world. And I think one of the good news pieces is that people are waking up. So let's bring in Issy. Get ready to strap in. It's going to be a heck of a ride. It's like drinking from a fire hose. Never a dull moment, but yes, you'll hear the stories you won't hear anywhere else, and we appreciate you being here with us for them today. I'm Justin Barclay. And we're back. Maha Missy update. And there's some good stories today. In fact, there's some really good news out there. Plus, we got Halloween stories we got to add. The worst candy for kids. You might be surprised. You say all the candy's bad for kids. Well, again, maybe there's some of that. Maybe some of that is a bit of a, I don't know. Maybe it's a balancing act. Maybe you give them some stuff. Maybe, other things you're just a little more concerned about, a little more guarded on. That's up to you. We didn't give our kids like any sugar for like years and years and years. And then finally we took a little more balanced approach, but they're eating so much healthy stuff all the other times, organic, this, that, and the other thing. I felt like, okay, maybe we can cave here and there. So we'll talk about that and more coming up in just a moment. Plus, Trump is targeting Big Pharma. We'll talk a little bit more about that. And a new study on diet drinks raising questions about impacts on health, which may be eye-opening for some of us. Hey, good morning. Welcome in. Appreciate you being here with us. Maha Missy.
Good morning, Justin. I love the intro. It's like drinking from a fire hose. I love that. I love it.
It is. It's purified. What is it? Spring-fed mineral fire hose water. That's what we're doing.
Exactly.
Fluoride free. How about that?
Fluoride free. Yes.
Lots to cover. Part of the movement, I think, and one of the biggest things is that so many people are waking up to things.
What a time to be alive. I mean, what a time to be alive. And I'm young enough to appreciate what the heck's going on. Being in this entire as people are waking up, I've been awake for 30 years. I'm 56, and so I got my dose of reality a long time ago. So it's extremely fun having more people join the family, is what I'm seeing. I'm like, the family's growing. So
Yeah, absolutely. And each and every day, I think more and more people are waking up. You're seeing Maha moms jumping in. You're seeing all kinds of people that I don't think ever before really took a close look at this. It happened for us when we had our first daughter, and I think that's the thing as parents. There's something interesting about that role, the mama bear. The parents that are starting to, see the light.
yeah, I get it. I mean, well, it's one of those things is that you got like our generation, like with me being my age, and you're behind me, but I still remember what it was like living in grandma's house, being in the grandma and grandpa era, that generation where we are privileged to have understood that culture. And in that culture, you didn't see any of the diseases or illnesses or anything like that we're now currently seeing
Yeah.
today. And so for someone like us, it's like glaringly obvious that there's a stark contrast between what we knew growing up and what we now know what's happening with kids with peanut allergies and type 2 being through the roof and all these kids with autoimmune diseases and obviously autism. But you start looking around like what's changed? What has changed? What is so different than what weren't they doing back then that they're now doing today? And that's something that I've been looking into for years because of the situation that we went through when our son was diagnosed with autism and learning a lot of things. And so yeah, you mentioned fluoride. Fluoride again, fluoride is a natural mineral found, but man has figured out a way to create fluoride their own, and I don't know if that's what you want to talk about, but fluoride is destroying the health on the inside of the body. And kids getting fluoride treatments at the dentist or having fluoride because it's going to protect tooth enamel in their toothpaste. Well, we just don't think beyond that is going to help the tooth enamel. But what happens when that fluoride gets ingested into the body is that it goes and it leaches into bones, and it will cause over time your body will continue to accumulate fluoride, and as it accumulates the fluoride, it is going to have a direct impact on bones. But the biggest thing that I've always stressed to my clients is like, listen, the biggest thing that we don't want that fluoride to interact with or to impact and cause bad things to go on in the body is that little pineal gland right there in your forehead, like right in there. You can't see it, but that amazing pineal gland, some people call it the third eye, some people call it pineal gland, some people like, I don't even know what that is. But what it is it's a very important part of the body that is a hormone that communicates your melatonin. Your melatonin is directly linked to your sleep cycle. And then when you're not in good deep sleep, the body can't heal and repair like it's supposed to. It's going to start staying on edge and guard. And that is just the beginning of things to start to go wrong. I mean, not to mention it impacts the kidneys, the thyroid, your hormone endocrine system. And again, we never allowed our kids to get fluoride treatments. They've never had a fluoride treatment, and we've never, well, I want to say the majority of the time, we've never had toothpaste that has fluoride in it. And you got fluoride in that stinking mouthwash. When it's swallowed, that's the thing, it's going to leak naturally in the back of your throat. I mean, kids are kids. I mean, and you try to spit it all out, but there's still stuff getting in there. And so one thing I'm telling clients, people today listening, if you change just one thing, maybe next time you go to the grocery store, get toothpaste that has no more fluoride in it because of the devastating effects it has inside the body.
There is a plaque, and it is just maybe a mile away from where I am, just down the road from where I am right now.
Wow.
And it's right out in front of the old water treatment plant.
Yep.
Here in Michigan, in Grand Rapids, and it is the plaque that commemorates on January 25th, 1945, Grand Rapids, becoming the first city in the world to add fluoride to its public water supply. It says right there on the plaque, the city, along with the U.S. Public Health Service, Department of Health and the University of Michigan School of Dentistry began a 10-year study to determine the effectiveness of fluoride in the prevention of tooth decay. The city was chosen as a test site because of its large population of school-aged children, its closeness to Lake Michigan, which mostly free of natural fluoride, and its proximity to Muskegon, which served as a control city. By 1955, the study's shown a 65% reduction in tooth decay, yada, yada, yada. You could read that. But that's literally down the street from where we are.
Yeah.
And I think most people probably don't even know that about Grand Rapids, which is kind of a wild stat.
Sure. And it comes as no surprise in the line of work that I do, because of the health, because of the way that we look at the body and try to help people get their health back in gear. Water contaminations in the state of Michigan, it's unlike anything I've seen amongst other clients that I see throughout the United States. And it is. And so that's the key. They're putting it in our water. I didn't know if you want to go that far, but they put fluoride in the water. And when we ingest it, so what they say is that most adults, that little kids in general, because they're so small and they're consuming water, they're brushing their teeth, they're going to go to the dentist, they're going to get fluoride treatments. All of that is going to accumulate in the bones, and it causes, I mean, why in the world are little kids having joint pain? Why are they having joint pain? I mean, what I've said before, it's like an 80-legged octopus. It isn't just one thing. I mean, it is a bunch of things that has been slowly over time introduced as a friendly thing, because of course, that's the dentist, the dental association. I mean, it's a great marketing. I mean, it is great marketing. It's devastating. Great marketing is what's taken place. And again, drinking it, they said, like with little kids, that when kids are supposed to use their toothpaste with fluoride in it, it says don't swallow it. Don't swallow it, and to only use a pea-sized amount. Well, okay, how many kids really use a pea-sized amount? And don't swallow it. Okay, well then why are they putting it in our water if we're not supposed to swallow fluoride?
Yeah, the good news is you can get toothpaste for kids that doesn't have it in it.
Absolutely.
And toothpaste for yourself that doesn't have it in it.
Yep.
Our kids have never had fluoride in their toothpaste.
Yeah.
It's something that we take. It's a little step, but you can do that, and
yeah. Yep, one step, because I feel for people out there, because they're like, they're hearing so many different things, and they're like, what do I do? Is just like one little step at a time is going to move the needle. I mean, buying different toothpaste. And you're right, you can buy the fluoride-free toothpaste in almost any in any Walgreens, Myers for the people that are in Michigan. You can find it in almost like literally any store these days. You just have to know to look for it. And that's the thing too, the elderly, the people that have kidney problems should not be using toothpaste with fluoride in it. I mean, people have thyroid problems. They should not be using toothpaste with fluoride in it. You've got some hormone issues going on. You should not be using toothpaste with fluoride in it, because it impacts everything. And especially that pineal gland. When your circadian rhythm gets out of whack, out of balance, you're not waking up refreshed. Your body did not get a chance to heal and repair as you were sleeping, because that's what the body's designed to do: heal and repair. Melatonin gets kicked off. The pineal gland ends up being able to communicate with the melatonin, which is a hormone, and all the it's maddening, because really what it's doing is calcifying the pineal gland. The way that I see is a little bit deeper than, if I go a little bit deeper dive, that pineal gland is also, in my opinion, your antenna up. And to hear, to be sensitive, to be able to hear, from God, to be able to hear, from, some people say, your higher self, intuition. All of this is right there. So would it make sense if you didn't want people to be in tune, if you wanted people to be disconnected, and allow dis-ease to come into the body? Go calcify that little guy up there. And oh, by the way, it's going to do a lot of other things too. So one thing, yeah, I like that. And I can't believe it's in Grand Rapids of all things. That baffles me.
It really is interesting, the history, but people are waking up to things like this, and it's just a matter of time. I mean, it's always been there. So you think to yourself, it's always been there. What's the difference? Well,
Yep.
more and more people, I think, are looking at that. You might have a question. You say, okay, I understand. There's a major study of diet drinks out there. Yes, I'm sure there's something wrong with diet drinks, but what about water? Like you're saying diet drinks, there shouldn't be. What are you talking about? There's something wrong with the diet drinks, like soft drinks? Okay, of course there's something wrong with diet drinks.
Of course.
That stuff ain't natural. That's what you're thinking, right? But water, that's a whole nother story. Hey, this might freak some people out that are big diet. I used to be a big diet drinker.
Yeah.
Now I don't need it as much. Drink a lot more water these days with the folks at My Pure Health Solutions and healthwithjustin.com. By the way, I've got big news, another big update for you today. I got to make sure I share that with you before we get out of here, Missy. But another big celebration. So those who drink diet drinks, according to the report, face 60% higher risk of liver disease, according to research. And they're saying that you may want to take another look at that if you're somebody who drinks a lot of diet. Now, I don't know. Maybe it's just what's in the drinks themselves that's causing that. But man, oh man, I'm kind of a little more careful about the stuff that I'm taking in each and every day.
Well,
likes his Diet Cokes, but
well, yes, that's it. And again, let's think of the marketing on this diet. Oh, it must be good for me. It's a marketing scheme. That's all it is. I mean, but years ago when I was running the chiropractic office, we would tell our clients, if you're gonna drink pop, don't drink diet. Do not drink diet, because the chemicals that are in that diet soda are worse than the chemicals in a regular soda.
I've heard that too. Isn't that interesting?
Oh, yeah. I mean, because the chemicals, this is a thing. We don't even give it a second thought when we drink something and we're driving down the road, you're on the phone, and then you're not thinking about what is going to happen once it goes down the throat and hits the gut. It has got to go through the filter system, the detox system. I mean, your whole body, the symphony of the body on the inside goes into working mode. And when it starts seeing these chemicals that the body was not designed to recognize, the body was not designed to ever see those chemicals. It never was. And so it just goes to show you the resilience of the human body that God created, how resilient our bodies are. But over time, again, some people, you can see some people that are 90 years old, and they've drank Diet Coke for the last 30 years. They're smoking 2 packs of cigarettes a day, and they eat bonbons all day. They're skinny. You're like, and they're still alive. Like, what is it? Well, the way I look at it is that everyone was born with a different bucket of how many toxins and trauma and all the things that can happen. How big is your bucket? And no one knows when that last thing hits the bucket that the bucket's going to tip. And then that's your health. So the people that are 90 that have been drinking pop and smoking and drinking, let's just say they got a 5-gallon bucket. They were blessed. Others have a thimble. Others have a medium, large, or whatever. But again, and I don't live my life perfect by any stretch of the means. I mean, I try to apply the rule like 80-20, 80% right, and 20% I'm like kind of off the grid a little bit, because you can become obsessed and overwhelmed by all the different things that are out there that could be causing harm. But again, if you just start small, it's like, that diet soda, stevia is a great natural sugar. And for those that maybe want to change out soda, go look up Zevia, Zevia. Zevia is a great pop. They come in a bunch of different flavors, all your Dr. Peppers and your Mountain Dews, all that kind of stuff. But it's made with stevia sugar, and they actually have energy drinks that's also made with the stevia sugar. So you can still have pop, but you're just maybe change that out. Maybe change fluoride to non-fluoride and there you go, right there. The Zevia Pop. Now
This is my jam right now, by the way. I drink if I need something. This is what I don't really drink a lot of these, but
yeah.
I like that Mountain Zevia. It kind of tastes like Mountain Dew.
The Dr. Pepper, I don't know what they call it, Dr. Zevia.
Dr. Zevia. The thing that will freak you out, though, and this is actually a good thing, but the thing that will freak you out is you'll go to drink one of these, like the soda or the Dr. Zevia or whatever, the Coke type of thing, and it's clear. And you're going to be like, what? But that's actually a good thing because there's no dyes in it.
There's no dyes in it. Yes, that's the other thing. I mean, this is a thing, you guys. 80-legged octopus, the food and chemical dyes that are going in the food is destroying the inside the human body. Now, again, it's everywhere. These food and chemical dyes are everywhere, so it's almost near impossible to not have food that has it. But I mean, even our medicine, even our supplements. I mean, or not supplements, but the food and chemical dyes are all over the place. Again, with the clients that I work with, and some of them, part of their problems have been the food and chemical dyes that have been hanging out in their body over time. That's actually playing a huge role on their gastrointestinal system, their immune system, their hormone system. I mean, it impacts the whole body. And again, what didn't they do back in when my grandma and grandpa were alive? We didn't have those. We didn't have fluoride in our toothpaste. We didn't have food and chemical dyes in our food. You just look what's changed and why we are like the sickest nation in the world.
Yeah, it's so sad, and it doesn't have to be that way.
No.
There is an alternative. I will tell you this. I actually got to share. I spilled some of the beans yesterday. A friend, someone I know, actually reached out to me and said, "Is this Missy? This Maha Missy? Is she the real deal?" And he was asking me about the program because he's been hearing and seeing it, and I've been sharing it. And
yeah,
he said he just got off the phone with you, and he's really excited. He said, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna do this." He's asking me. I said, "So what's that? How long you been doing it?" So I was telling him. So I think I want to say, like maybe 2 weeks in right now.
Okay.
My wife and I.
All right.
And so that's just to give you an idea. 2 weeks in, and I'm about, let's see, 15, 16 pounds down now. Now,
there you go.
I don't have to do the math on this, but I was actually told that I'm even down even more when it comes to the actual fat.
Body fat. That's the number right there. Yeah.
And I'm doing this. A good friend, Andrew, the other day was asking me at church. He goes, "Hey, man, yeah, you're looking good. What are you doing?" He said, "Looks like that thing's working." So yeah, absolutely. So he could see the difference. And somebody today, Missy, maybe you can tell my list, like, "Wow, the sun is really hitting you. You're just glowing today." I go, "Well,
week two for you men."
not only does my clothes fit better, I'm sleeping better, and I feel better. I got all this energy. Yeah, the weight, the scale's one thing, but it's all these extra things.
Right.
So good. And my wife is down too. She feels amazing, and I could see it on her right away. I mean, I could just see it in the face and in everything else. And then I mean, it's just amazing what happens. So that's my big update for you today.
Right. All right. That's
we're celebrating.
Yeah. I love it because when you correct the metabolism, when you turn the metabolism back on, again, most people just don't grasp because that's been that weight loss industry. You want to talk about marketing dollars? It's a $90 billion with a B billion-dollar enterprise yearly, and we're still the most overweight nation in the entire world because the $90 billion industry out there is not correcting or solving the problem. That's your metabolism is broken, and the only way to restore the metabolism is you have to look to the inside. What controls that metabolism are those 2,800 biomarkers. You go eat. Again, I tell people all the time, I'm like, you've got to go to the root of the problem. You got to fix the problem, and then go on and live your life, and we're gonna help you lose weight. I love the fact, yeah, so next week when I come on, I wanna find out how much we'll talk about how much body fat you've lost because, with going to the Trucker Randy's site, with being able to show the difference, because most people have only, like, looked at, I've lost 12 or 20 pounds, but when you look
Mhm.
at it, like, what happens when you look at that, if you look and you see, like, you've lost, like, 15 pounds of body fat, not
Yeah.
weight, but body fat, and you're gonna just keep shrinking, and we're gonna fill you up with hydration in your cells, so, yeah, it's exciting,
Oh,
and
that's the other thing that Charity said too is like, "Oh, your hydration levels really well." I'm drinking a ton of water. I'm probably
good.
drinking about 100 ounces of water a day.
Okay, yeah,
But I love and I eat a lot of ice too. I don't know if that's in the program or not, but I
that's
like eating
fine.
ice.
That's water. That's
I
water.
like I
Cold
like
water.
munching on ice because one of the things I found is that part of the eating thing is like, a lot of times you're just eating out of habit or you're eating out of boredom or there's
Sure.
something you just eat, and this you want to crunch on something.
Mhm.
I get ice from Chick-fil-A. This is my secret. I was telling Charity this the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Charity's one of the folks, one of the coaches that you may work with. When you join me at healthwithjustin.com, I was telling her, I was like, I go to Chick-fil-A. I get a bag of ice. It's $2. Get a whole bag, and I love their ice. It's like this little pellet ice. It's so good. I just crunch on that. It's almost like a secret for me.
I love it. It's that, yeah, I get it. I chew gum all the time. Or else if I
Yeah.
wasn't chewing gum, I would have my hand in mouth. I would be eating. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's just, yeah, it just is what it is. But I
You
love it.
got
You do look good. You got a little glow going. I can
a
see that.
little glow happening today, and so it's Halloween. I'm going to make it through. I'm
Okay.
not going to touch the candy. And I will tell you, we went through a birthday on Sunday. And folks, once you get into this, I mean, it's so much easier to do. I mean, all the stuff that you used to just be kind of like, I don't know, controlled by or whatever.
Right.
I just don't. It doesn't hit me anymore. So we got Halloween tonight. I'm not worried about that. And then we got my daughter's birthday is today too. So there'll be some birthday stuff tonight, and then we're gonna have a birthday for both the girls, a birthday party later down the road. And I'm not worried about cake. I passed the cake up on Sunday, so I'm good for that.
Oh, now, just
Uh,
in case your listeners don't understand this, it's only for a short amount of time that do we ask you to stay away from
Oh
certain
yeah,
while we
but
fix while we
that's
fix
why
your body, while we fix your body, you
that's
gotta stay away from certain things. Yeah.
that's why it's doable. It's because I'm just doing this for right now, and then I can get right back into whatever it is that I want to do. But I'll have more balance, and I'll have the guidance to do that.
Absolutely.
That's the
Absolutely.
great
God
thing.
fix that problem and show you how to live and show you how to strategize to keep eating those fun foods, but keep your waistline the same.
All right, last but not least, some of the worst candy for you to eat
Oh,
for
yeah.
Halloween, and especially for the kids. Candy's facing backlash from nutrition experts this year. Those Skittles. I know they've talked about Maha has had some conversations about this, and some of these candy companies are talking about changing the dyes and taking them out. But boy, those Skittles are right up there on that list, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. Oh my, they're just loaded, not only with that, but also with the sugar that's inside of it that's
Mm-hmm.
hurting the body too. They did there were a couple companies that tried to take because cereal's the same way. Cereal has this
Yeah.
just as horrible. But there were some companies that decided not to use food and chemical dyes on the cereal, and kids wouldn't eat it because kids want the shiny, pretty stuff. They want the colorful
Wow.
stuff. So it might be I don't know when they start to make the changes again, the kids that have grown up with all the pretty fluorescent candy.
Do you remember M&Ms from back in the day? I've been watching these old commercials. Like
Yeah.
you can watch on YouTube like the commercials from the 80s. It's kind of just nostalgic to me.
Yeah.
The M&Ms back in the day were not as bright. They were really dull kind of in color.
Yeah, they were. Exactly, because yeah, they were. Like I said, these are all fluorescent. The other ones were your typical evergreen. Well, they weren't evergreen. I mean, they were still green, but they weren't like fluorescent, pop you in the face to put your Skittles on the wall and turn on your lights or turn off your lights and they glow in the dark. They weren't that kind of M&M or Skittle type of thing. So yeah, I'm excited. The world's waking up and again, the body's resilient. I see it all the time. If people just stop consuming it as much and then eventually stop it altogether, the body will heal and repair on the inside. I mean, it just has to be given a chance. That the kidneys and liver are ready to show up and show off for you, but you need to stop giving them the stuff that gunks up the entire system.
And do you have any good alternatives if we want to have a little fix, a little something, Halloween candy or something that you sign off on?
Well, I mean, you got stuff like the Lily's chocolate or the dark chocolate. I mean, honestly, anything for our kids.
Yeah.
I mean, getting that and some good peanut butter and, yeah. I mean, do I have anything off the top of my head that I could suggest? Probably not anything that won't make a kid cry. It's like, because, it's just like
Well, forget the kids. How about us? Let's talk about us. You're talking about those like dark chocolate, organic peanut butter cups, stuff like that. I know that's kind of some of the things that Lizzie used to try and eat.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I'll grab a dark chocolate and I'll grab some organic peanut butter because stuff that doesn't have the bad oils in it, almond butter. And I'll just sit there and I'll just like break it apart and put a little peanut butter on it. Again, it's always that psychological thing because you want that hand to mouth action. I break my stuff up little. I mean, I grab a toothpick because I want that hand to mouth thing, right? More hand to mouth, the better.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll do that little toothpick, put some sea salt on it, put it in my peanut butter and eat it and be tickled pink with it because I'm savoring and enjoying it because I understand what I'm eating. It's different than just cram it all in.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I tell you, another daily dose of the Maha. Well, it's a weekly update, the Maha Health Update with Maha Missy. Always a pleasure to dive into these topics and great to see things moving in the right direction. Not just for me, but like the country. That's the point. Is
good. So good.
If we're going to make America healthy again, well, I've got to start with me.
Amen. Gosh, preach. You're right. I mean, I say it to myself all the time. I mean, I can get better too. We all can. Yep.
We continue the road, folks. Thanks for being here on the journey with me. And again, if you have questions for Missy about any of these things we talked about today, I know somebody was asking about toothpaste in the comments or questions about some of the candy stuff or whatever it might be. Maybe you want to join me. Please reach out, healthwithjustin.com. She loves talking to folks and obviously jump on the phone with you. She's give you a free consultation if you want to jump in and really have, maybe start taking a look at how you can get healthy again. We would love to see you on the journey together and join the fight to make America healthy again. And be one of these people, by the way. Look at all these before and afters. Look at all these folks here. Be one of these people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who have incredible success stories to share. I can't wait to share yours. There's Trucker Randy.
67 pounds of stored fat gone. No sleep apnea machine. He avoided a couple of surgeries, and I think he got off 2 medications. All in a matter of 4 months. And again, people are like, hey, maybe I want to do this, but not right now. Still have a consultation with us and just plan on doing it starting in January.
Yeah. That's a great time to do it, actually, because then you're kind of like plan, okay, it's time for something new. And you've already done the homework. You've done everything set out to get to where you want to go. So, there's no guessing. A lot of times people say, I want to lose this weight, at the beginning of the year, but you have no idea. You don't have a plan. You don't know where you're going to. This way, everything's done for you. You know exactly what to do. All you have to do is hit start and get going. Love to see you on with us. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, God bless him.
You got it, Missy. Thank you as always. Appreciate you. And man, what a great time. Healthwithjustin.com. Log in, check it out today. Healthwithjustin.com. Check out all of those great stories. Schedule yours and read some of the reviews. I mean, incredible to hear and see what people have gone through and what they've gained. Not just lost, but gained their life back. Maybe you can too. All right, make it a great day. We appreciate you as always. Back with another big Maha Minute Health Update with Maha Missy next week, right here. God bless.